The angel of the Lord sits under an oak tree and watches a man threshing wheat in a winepress. You thresh wheat in the open air on a threshing floor. You hide in a winepress when you are afraid. The angel looks at this frightened, hiding man and says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon has never felt less like a mighty warrior in his life. Day 64. 300 men. Judges 6, 8. 7 years of oppression. Every harvest wiped out. Israel hiding in caves, watching everything disappear. They cry out. God answers. With a reminder before a rescue, Israel is reduced to hiding. Dens in the mountains, caves, strongholds. A nation that crossed the Jordan and took 31 cities is now crouching in holes in the ground, watching their harvests disappear. They cry out to God. God sends a prophet first, not a deliverer, a prophet, who reminds them exactly why this is happening. I brought you out of Egypt. I drove out your enemies. I said, do not worship their gods. You did not listen. Then the angel comes. Gideon is threshing wheat in a winepress, hiding it from the Midianites, when the angel of the Lord appears and sits under the oak at Ophrah. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Gideon's response is immediate and honest. If God is with us, why does it feel like he isn't? He is not being disrespectful. He is being real. He has watched 7 years of locusts eat his nation's food. He has hidden in a winepress to thresh wheat like a fugitive. The claim that God is with them does not match his experience. God's answer does not address the question. Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you? Pardon me, my lord, but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. The least of the least, the weakest clan, the smallest man in it. I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive. Gideon asks for a sign. God gives him one. Fire consuming the offering from the rock. The angel vanishes. Gideon builds an altar. He calls it, "The Lord is Peace." That night God tells him, "Tear down your father's altar to Baal. Cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Build a proper altar to the Lord and burn a bull on it using the wood from the Asherah pole you cut down." Gideon does it. At night. Because he is afraid of his family and the townspeople. In the morning, they find the altar destroyed, the Asherah pole gone, a new altar built, a bull sacrificed. The townspeople are furious. Who did this? They find out. Gideon. They demand his father hand him over to be killed. His father, Joash, the man whose Baal altar was just destroyed, defends his son with unexpected logic. If Baal is a god, let him defend himself. Why would Baal need you to fight for him? The crowd has no answer. Gideon is given a new name, Jerubbaal. Let Baal contend with him. The Midianites and Amalekites and eastern peoples cross the Jordan and camp in the valley of Jezreel. The Spirit of the Lord comes on Gideon. He blows a trumpet. Messengers go through the tribes. 32,000 men respond. Then God says something that stops everything. You have too many men, too many men. 32,000 Israelites against a Midianite army as numerous as locusts. And God says there are too many on Israel's side. In order that Israel may not boast against me that her own strength has saved her, announce to the people, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. 22,000 leave, 10,000 remain. Still too many, God says. Take them to the water, watch how they drink. Gideon takes 10,000 men to the water. Most of them kneel down to drink. Face in the stream, completely absorbed, aware of nothing around them. But 300 of them cup the water in their hands and lap it up while staying alert, watching. Heads up, 300 men out of 10,000. With the 300 who lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. 10,000 becomes 300. 300 against an army like locusts. So that when it is over, Israel cannot say, "We did this." They will have to say, "God did this." With 300 men and no conventional explanation. That night, God tells Gideon, "Go down to the Midianite camp. If you are afraid," and Gideon is afraid, God already knows. "Take your servant Purah and go listen to what they are saying." Gideon and Purah slip into the edge of the camp. They overhear a man telling his friend a dream. A round loaf of barley bread tumbled into the Midianite camp and struck a tent so hard it collapsed. The friend interprets it immediately. This can only be the sword of Gideon, son of Joash the Israelite. God has given the Midianites and the whole camp into his hands. The enemy is already afraid of a man who doesn't believe in himself yet. Gideon worships. Right there in the dark, at the edge of the enemy camp. Then he goes back to the 300. Get up. The Lord has given the Midianite camp into your hands. The plan is unlike anything in the history of military strategy. No swords raised, no charge called. 300 men. Each one gets a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch hidden inside it. They surround the camp. 3 companies, all sides. Watch me. Follow my lead. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly as I do. Dead of night. The middle watch. The changing of the guard when men are most disoriented, most vulnerable. Half asleep and half awake. Gideon and the 100 men with him reach the edge of the camp. They blow the trumpets. They smash the jars. They hold the torches high in their left hands, trumpets in their right hands. A sword for the Lord and for Gideon. All 300 blow their trumpets. All 300 smash their jars. All 300 raise their torches. 300 points of sudden light in the darkness surrounding the camp. 300 trumpets screaming from every direction at once. The Midianite camp explodes into chaos. Men running, men screaming. In the confusion and the darkness and the noise, they turn their swords on each other. The army that couldn't be counted flees. To Beth Shittah, towards Zerera, to the border of Abel Mahola near Tabith. Israel pursues. The Ephraimites cut off the crossing places of the Jordan. 2 Midianite princes, Oreb and Zeb, are captured and killed. Their heads brought to Gideon across the Jordan. The battle belongs to God. 300 men with empty jars proved it. But chapter 8 shows something the victory cannot hide. The Ephraimites are furious they weren't called earlier. Gideon handles it with wisdom. Your gleaning is better than my harvest. The Lord gave Oreb and Zeb into your hands. What could I compare to what you did? Their anger subsides. But then Gideon crosses the Jordan, still pursuing the Midianite kings. He asks the men of Succoth for food for his exhausted troops. They refuse. Are Zebah and Zalmunna already in your hands that we should give bread to your army? Gideon's response is cold. When the Lord gives them into my hand, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars. He captures the 2 kings. He returns to Succoth. He tears the flesh of the elders with thorns and briars. Exactly as promised. He pulls down the tower of Peniel and kills the men of the city. The deliverer is becoming something else. The Israelites ask him, rule over us. You, your son, your grandson. You have saved us from Midian. I will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. The right answer? Exactly right. And then, in the same breath, Gideon asked for a share of the plunder. An earring from every man's share. Gold earrings, crescent ornaments. Purple garments from the Midianite kings. Chains from their camels. 1,700 shekels of gold. Plus the ornaments and pendants and purple garments. Gideon makes it into an ephod, a priestly garment, and puts it in his hometown of Ophrah. All Israel prostitutes itself by worshiping it there. It becomes a snare to Gideon and his family. The man who tore down his father's Baal altar sets up a different idol. Different material, different name, same result. He takes many wives. He has 70 sons. He also has a concubine in Shechem, who bears him a son he names Abimelech. The land has rest for 40 years while Gideon lives. When he dies, Israel again prostitutes itself to the Baals. They forget the Lord, their God, who rescued them, and they show no loyalty to the family of Gideon for all the good he had done. 300 men, empty jars, a victory that could only belong to God. And a man who started tearing down idols began building one of his own. The cycle doesn't just happen around them. It happens inside them, and it's already turning again. And the son named Abimelech, the one from the concubine in Shechem, is about to make everything much worse. Tomorrow, Abimelech kills 70 of his brothers on a single stone to make himself king. Jephthah makes a vow he cannot take back, and the spiral drops another level. See you then.